Hello and welcome to another Darker Days radio video review, and this follows on from the Iron Kingdoms RPG video review that we put up a few days ago. And this time we're going to look at something else that's in the Iron Kingdoms world, and that is the game of Warmachine, also produced by Privateer Press, and this is a tabletop war game using 30mm figures. Warmachine of course features warjacks as the main figures and main feature of the armies. So this is the Warmachine starter box game, and inside you get two armies. This retails at around about €90, maybe about £60, give or take, depending on where you look. So in there you get enough for two battle groups, roughly around about 25 points each. And of course, as you can tell by the cover of the box, you get a Cador force and a Menoth force. Here are the contents. You get Warcaster Commander Sorshka, a Juggernaut Heavy Warjack, a Destroyer Heavy Warjack, 5 Man-O-War Shock Troopers. Then you get for the Menoth, the Warcaster High Exemplar Krios, a Crusader Heavy Warjack, a Vanquisher Heavy Warjack, a Repenter Light Warjack, and 5 of the Exemplar Incinerators, who are kind of these Menoth Knights. So there's quite a lot in the box. Individually, you would get all that stuff for around about somewhere between 100 and 130, 140 euros. So buying this box, you save a fair whack. Cador, of course, are from the lands of snow and feature very slow, cumbersome but powerful warjacks. Menoth, of course, a desert-dwelling force, and feature holy zealots devoted to the Church of Menoth. So they feature a lot of flames and killing heretics. So in the box you get some dice, a tape measure, and a few booklets. You get one booklet that explains a bit about the game, a bit of a painting guide, and a few features on the forces that you get inside the box, plus some other forces that you can collect. And you also get some templates for combat, some rack markers, and some 2D scenery, hills and forests, because obviously when you're starting out you may not have any scenery at all for your games. So if we put that away, we can have a look at what else we get hold of in this box. We get a small leaflet which contains the quick start rules, and you get this in all the battle group box sets, and you also get all the stat cards for all the forces in the battle group box sets. So these are smaller intro boxes that feature either Signar, who are one of the main factions of the Iron Kingdoms that feature kind of lightning weaponry and some of the high technology of the setting. Another of the starter box sets is for Cricks, who are the kind of undead army, and so their warjacks, known as Helljacks and Bonejacks, are of course making use of necromancy to power them. And of course there is a battle group box set for Menoth, and so that kind of gives some of the similar contents that you get in the two-player starter box set. And of course there's one for Cador, which again has some of the content that you get in the starter two-player box set for Warmachine. So there's easy ways of picking up different forces or even bulking out what you already have. Again, those battle group box sets are very good value. So here's the quick start rules. And of course, if you are already playing the Iron Kingdoms roleplay game, you'll be very familiar with that. And if you're already playing Hordes, you'll also be very familiar with those rules. You also get in the box a small no-quarter magazine to give you an idea of what a copy of No Quarter magazine is like. And again, you get painting guides, a battle report, a bit of gaming fluff, content history of the setting. A small rule And this of course has everything you need. The only thing it's missing is background on each of the factions, which you would get in the larger rulebook that you can buy separately. And again, lots of this will be very familiar. And there's different scenarios and information on terrain. Oh, and lastly, we have the faction cards. So these are the cards that show all the rules and health markers for all the contents of the box. And they're great for quick reference in the game, and you put them inside a plastic sleeve like you would do with Magic the Gathering cards, and that way you can use an OHP or dry white marker pen to mark off damage as you go through the game. So, moving on, what can we have a look at? We can have a look at the miniatures. So here we have the contents of High Example Krios and Commander Sorshka, which put together look like this. As you can see, they are excellent plastic miniatures that are multi-component and have quite dynamic poses. And the cool thing when you get these miniatures out of the box and you start putting them together, you don't need to clip them off sprues. So there is no excess plastic that is just a waste in the box. And I don't know whether that's an ease of use or to cut down on the waste or to cut down on the weight of the box. Either way, I think it's a good move by Private Press. So this is the light warjack for the Menoth, the Repenter, I believe. Here we have one of the heavy warjacks for Menoth that you get. And then of course we have one more heavy warjack. As you can see, they're high quality plastic, very chunky, very big, and you can get an idea for scale by looking at Sam's fingers in the in the video. And this is the last heavy warjack that we get. So this one has a mace and some form of bombard cannon. And if we look at them put together, this is the first heavy warjack. Of course, there are some mold lines and flash that has to be cleaned off, but that's expected for any plastic miniature. Second heavy warjack. And that should be pointed out that compared to the standard box set, the Battle Group box set, the cheaper one for Menoth, in that you get one heavy warjack and two light warjacks. In this you get two heavy warjacks and one light warjack, and this is the light warjack armed with a flail and flamethrower. So moving on, what else do we have? We have our exemplar incinerators. So we get 5 of those packaged like so. And again, we've got a variety of poses. There's 3 in total, 2 grunt poses and 1 commander pose. And they look like that when put together. Again, lots of detail, which just shows how good the plastic molds are that Private Press has. Now moving on, we have the Cador warjacks, 2 heavy warjacks, the Destroyer and Juggernaut. There's some bits that have to be clipped off, but again, no excess plastic in the form of sprues. And this gives you an idea of the scale of these warjacks compared to Commander Sorshka. And I can tell you that these warjacks are significantly bigger than the original classic metal warjacks they brought out around about 10 years ago. And then these are the 5 Man-O-War Shock Troopers. Again, 3 poses, 2 grunts, 1 commander, and you get a optional 2 heads to give the commander, 3 heads in total actually. So I opted for one that has no helmet in total. And as you can see, they're big, chunky, they have these shields with cannons built in. And again, Commander Sorshka, that gives you an idea of the scale of these miniatures. That is the contents of the Warmachine 2-player box set. You get a lot in there, and it's really good value for money. Of course, extra things you could get hold of are the plastic templates. So they're these see-through green templates for the spray for the blast, and also a measurement for range of reach and close combat and so forth. You also can get counters to represent focus points and spells that are in play. And you get them in different colours for all your different factions. So, what else could you get to move on? Well, of course, there is the Horde's 2-player battle box that contains a force for Circle Orberus and one for the Everblight force. And that I hope to get hold of in future at some point, because I really want to have those figures. So that's pretty much it. So if you like this video, by all means you can follow us on Google+, Facebook, Twitter, and head to our website at www.darker-days.org. Bye.